wanted to talk very briefly about Mass cards. To non-Catholics, there's always been a bit of a mystery about them, but as a Catholic I grew up knowing about them for many years. Now Catholics believe, of course, that when a Catholic dies, the priest says a Mass for him, it's very unlikely that Catholic will get to heaven. So he goes to a place called purgatory, and whilst in purgatory assorted Masses will be said for their beloved by the priests over many, many years. But to keep that person's memory alive, they have what they call Mass cards, and I brought some along to show you today to give you some idea what it's about. Now this is the first Mass card. As you can see, it's very old. You can see the black border here symbolising that there's been a death. And if you open this up, and James can go in there, this was a very old friend of our family called Patrick Langdon. As you can see there, this was put out. He died the 21st of October 1971 and he was 46 years old. There's normally a photograph of the person, a little bit about him, and a little saying at the bottom, all I ask of you is that you remember me at Mass and Holy Communion. And then there's assorted prayers. Now here's a very interesting one. This is here, Blessed Jose Maria Escrivera. I hope I pronounced that correctly, the founder of Opus Dei. Of course, since this has come out, Pope John Paul II officially canonised him as a saint, so he's now a saint. But this is a little card put out. It's always a very glamorised photograph, I've noticed. Looks like it's been touched up, and you've always got that very healthy white glow behind. Can you see that radiance there then? The same thing happened for the very popular English cardinal, Cardinal Basil Hume. Very, very popular with the press, very, very popular with the monarchy as well. And here's a card that they put out. You can see him there. And on the back it says, please pray for George Basil Hume, Cardinal Priest of Archbishop of Westminster. And it tells you a bit about him there. Rest in peace. And very interesting, they use Psalm 41. Maybe this is one of his favourites. Like the deer that yearns for running streams, so my soul is yearning for you, my God. And that's to remind people of him. He hasn't made saint yet, which is very, very interesting. Another very, very old card here. You can see how old that is again, the black border, in loving memory and so forth. And this is a relative of ours, James. This is on my father's side. This is John Henry Higgins of Clonguna, of County Sligo, who died on the 22nd of March 1967. Again, you've got the assorted prayers there. There's a prayer at the top by St. Ambrose. Then you've got a little bit in Latin at the bottom. Then he tells you a bit about him. Then you've got a prayer on the side, Jesus my God, I love thee above all things. Now the interesting thing, it says underneath, to be recited 50 times each day. Can you see that? 50 times each day. And on the other side of the photograph, my Jesus mercy, 300 days indulgence each time. So what they're saying here is, and they still stand by this, that if you say that and that, that's going to knock off 300 days from your period in purgatory. Another little card, another little card on the back there. Prayer for a Happy Death by Cardinal Newman. Soon to be Saint Cardinal Newman, of course. And Sacred Heart of Jesus, once in agony, pity the dying 100 days. And finally the one that came out for my own mother, my late mother. There you can see a picture of one of the early Catholic saints, St. Martin de Porres. St. Martin de Porres, I think, was a Peruvian saint. He was a Dominican, of course, and you can see that he had this great attachment to animals. Once again, you've got that ethereal light in the background, you've got the halo, you've got the animals, and you can open up there and you can see a picture of my mother there. Have mercy on the soul of Monica Maria Botel, who died on the 7th of June. Again, you've got the prayers, all that I ask that you remember me at Mass and Holy Communion. My mother, unfortunately, wasn't saved. And you have a little prayer on the back there, and there's a photograph there, and another prayer on the back to St. Martin. So all of these little Mass cards are to remind people that most of their family have gone to purgatory. So in conclusion, all I can say about these little Mass cards is that they mean a lot to the people, the families who hold these cards, but I'm afraid it doesn't get them born again. It doesn't save them. None of these cards, none of these Masses, as I said, will get that person out of purgatory, because there is no purgatory. You're either saved or you're unsaved. You're either lost or you're saved. And all of these cards make no difference. And all of these little prayers, these little mantras, I suppose, as you would say, that you have to recite 300 times a day and so forth, it means absolutely nothing. And this is one of the great bogus deceptions of the Catholic Church, that if you're saying these so-called mantras, it will make all the difference. If you're into the Catholic Church, if you're into all this, you have to get out of it now. Christ says you'll neither know the time nor the place when I return. And if Christ returns and you're sitting and filling one of these or praying one of these little prayers or mantras, it will make no difference at all. We at this ministry would say, think today. Become born again today. Repent of your life. Repent of all of this. I keep this purely for sentimental reasons. That's the only reason, and possibly to do some articles and so forth. But from this ministry, we wish you goodbye, Maranatha, and please think about what I said about all these little mass cards. Yes, they're pretty, but they can't save you. Thank you, and Maranatha.